Cheryl Bernard, our guest, as you know, she's an Olympic curler, a stellar athlete, and she's married to a stellar athlete. I think he's a fitness trainer and a teacher.
He's actually a curler, so he curled as a fifth man for Martin years ago,
Right.
and so he now is coaching us this year, actually, as our
Really?
coach this year. So we'll see how that works.
I guess.
Husband and coach.
Wow.
I know.
Has he ever coached you before?
No.
No.
No. So although, you know, we talk strategy all the time at home because he's big into the game. So we're hoping that it kind of transfers over. So he could end up as either as just a coach and not a husband.
That could be. But let's not
It'll
get a
be
divorce
fine.
because
No.
that would make the headlines, and he sounds like a nice guy.
He's awesome.
Do you have kids?
Yeah, stepkids. So
Stepchildren.
Yeah.
Perfect.
2 boys. They're awesome. They're
Do
great.
they curl?
Nope, they don't.
Oh.
I think there's too much pressure for them.
I'm sure. But how hard is it for himself, the husband, Russ?
Terry.
Terry. Why did I make him Russ?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a good one.
That's okay. Maybe that's the next one. Okay. Terry, is it hard for him to be Mr. Bernard, or does he feel like he is in any way?
I think it was tough through the Olympics. You know, it was a lot of, you get pushed to the sidelines. You know, we'd be walking down the street after the Olympics, somebody would run up, they'd hand him their camera and say, could you please take a picture of Cheryl and me with the camera? And he tolerated it, but it starts to get a little tiring after a while, I think.
Yeah, like, could you move over?
Yeah, it was a little bit, sometimes it was a little hard to take, but he's so good and so supportive and loves the game as much as I do.
Which is really great.
Yeah, it's
because
huge.
if he didn't know anything about the game, I guess it would be fine too, because you'd have someone in your life who did, it just wouldn't be him.
Right, and it wouldn't revolve around, our house does tend to revolve around curling.
I bet. When you give a curling lesson,
Right.
like learn to curl with Cheryl Bernard, like today at the North Shore Winter Club, where do you start? Beginner, middle?
Well, they have actual instructors there, and I have done some instructing at the base level, but they will kind of start the basic instruction on what foot you put the slider on, how to slide out, and then I kind of jump in and give them a little bit of the sweeping and how you call line and some of the fun stories about the Olympics and curling, and the basic lessons and how to slide, and I demonstrate a little bit.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And then do you get a grade?
No, I don't grade them, and I hope they don't grade me.
What are the injuries in curling? Typical injuries?
Knees.
In the sport?
Knees are a big deal. And, you know, 2 things. You're on your knee at an angle so long, and for so many years, the pressure, it's a funny angle that you have your left knee at when you're sliding. And so knee injuries are big. And the sweepers, not me, but the sweepers do get shoulder rotator cuff injuries from sweeping. So that's a big thing. And we overtrain. I train a lot just because of age, and I want to stay kind of on top of the game. So probably overtraining is the other issue.
And you overtrain doing yoga, weights, gym?
Everything. Yoga,
running.
weights, gym. So that's why we're very lucky to have, you know, some of our sponsors. Sierra Sil is one of them for us, because I think the biggest thing for us is inflammation from all the training
Right,
we do.
Sierra Sil, you rub on, you take a supplement.
Yeah, it's a mineral supplement that you take, and it's good for inflammation, good for cartilage rebuilding. So those are the big key things that we're always concerned about.
You bet. I think Mr. Handy, Shell Buzzy, takes Sierra Sil. I think he was telling me
I've
about
heard
it.
that. We're getting...
Would Shell be the guy? Because, you know, he might hit his thumb with a hammer or something, but apparently it helps.
It is, it's awesome.
So there's that. And then what about sponsors? Did you put a billboard up?
We did.
Was it you?
Yes, we did.
After Olympics, no
did.
sponsors or a few sponsors? How did it work?
Just a few. We didn't have a lot going on after the Olympics, and we thought, you know what, I don't think people realize that. And so we asked Pattison Signs, would you guys do a billboard? They're like, we'll give it to you all around the city. We'll
Great.
put them up.
Well, Jimmy's
And-
upstairs on the top
Oh,
floor, so
perfect.
go say hi.
I will. I'll say thank you. They're fabulous. So they put them up, and we got so many. We probably got 250 different emails from across Canada.
Really?
Yeah. it was
And Dairy
fabulous.
Queen came
They did.
to the plate.
And they're fantastic. And we got involved with Dairy Queen. One of the biggest reasons is because of what they do for the Children's Miracle Network. They're
Okay.
a huge, huge supporter of the Children's Miracle Network and the children's hospitals
Right.
across Canada.
Well, it is something people forget. I know Shaw sponsors athletes all the time, and we work very hard to help young Olympians.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough
And
out
no
there.
matter what your sport, if you're a skier or you're traveling and you need equipment and you need the latest and
It's very
the
difficult.
dedication and the
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah, the gas just to get. And after the Olympics, I think that companies were taxed out a little bit from, you know, they had done so much giving before the Olympics to support athletes, the cities, and so that was one of the things that made it a little tougher
You
as
bet.
well.
You bet. Now, you also have another vocation. You're an insurance broker still. Were you 23 when you went into insurance?
Yes. I sold it 7 years ago, and I did get back into an agency prior to the Olympic trials, but I've just been kind of put it on the back burner because of all the life changed after the Olympics.
I'm sure.
It did.
But did you love insurance, or did you just want to make some money?
How do I say it? I
What
started
was it?
at 23 to make a living and to pay the bills, and it flourished, and I had a great group of people working for me, and I was able to sell it when I was 35. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. It was
And
really
as you
good.
know, money buys freedom.
It does.
Certainly does. Who called you a curl-gar?
I don't know where that started.
Was that ESPN maybe? Was it Bill Simmons on ESPN?
I don't know
Or
where it
he
started.
was charged with it, I
I
think.
think it was him. I do think it was him.
So is his little cute take on cougar or
Yeah, I think
curl
so.
guard?
Yeah, Cougar, I think. It was different. I really don't know how to take
see, I
it.
don't think you're old enough to be a cougar.
I don't know what the
frankly.
age is.
I don't either. I get picking younger men up. I do get that, but I don't know what age, because there's like panthers and cougars and jaguars
pumas
and pumas and whatever, new shoes, old shoes. That calendar, did you do a calendar
I did
For
it
curling?
after the Olympics.
after the Olympics?
Yeah,
And
for
what was
curling
that about?
charity. It was for charity, for a charity down in Eastern Canada, and it was whatever pose or anything you wanted, so I did it in my workout clothes.
Okay, because I saw a headline. It said, Cheryl Bernard did not pose naked for the curling calendar.
Never. That's not something I choose to do. I think if anybody wants to do it, you go ahead, but not me.
No, not me either,
I
unless
don't
there's a
need
great
people
big
seeing
tree you can hide behind.
I don't need people seeing anything like that. So, you know what? Good for people that can, but no,
Right.
it wasn't my thing.
What about Men with Brooms? Did you see the movie?
Loved it.
Paul Gross.
Yes.
Leslie
I
Nielsen.
loved it.
You know, Paul Gross is now doing Private Lives with Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City in Toronto.
Right.
Wow, that'll be good.
It was good for curling, that movie. It really, you know, it was a fun take
sure.
on it, but it was great for the game.
Young people curling, when you motivate, I know you do a lot of motivational speaking. Is it hard to get kids to get interested in curling today with all the social media and being torn in different places? Are they just as keen in Grand Prairie, Alberta to curl as they were when you were there?
Well, it goes up a lot after the Olympics, like registration in events, and in the U.S. it was crazy after the Olympics. So I think the sport, every time an Olympics rolls through, the sport gets more recognition. The athletes are fitter. I think it's starting to attract it to a younger group of people, and which is kind of our goal. That's what you want.
And you work a lot, I know, to raise money for cancer.
Yes.
Because very close to you, your father.
Yeah, I'm a spokesperson for the Canadian Brain Tumor Foundation because I lost my dad 7.5 years ago to a brain tumor. So it's really near and dear, and the medal has enabled me to be able to have a voice for them.
And did Dad help you with curling?
Oh,
was he a curler?
was I cried at the Olympic trials after we won, and everybody thought it was because O Canada was playing, and it was because I just was wishing he could be there. So it was pretty amazing.
I bet.
Yeah, he was an amazing
And
guy.
the rest of the family was there.
They were,
This
my
is
mom
good.
and my brother.
Everybody else is
Yeah,
still
they-
alive and well,
yeah, and they
still
loved it.
curling. Do you ever curl together as a family?
We did. My dad, my mom, and I. My brother didn't. He was a hockey player. He thought curling was,
Right.
yeah. So
I know, he called it Eskimo bowling,
yeah,
didn't he?
he did.
It was rude.
It was rude. So no, my mom and my dad and I did for years. And we loved it.
How great. Now, Warren Hansen, who is the, he's the Director of Event Operations for the Canadian Curling
He is.
Association. You know Warren, great
Very
curler.
well. Yes, and very
his
nice
day.
man in his day.
He gave me this 20 years ago, and I didn't know if it was a real broom or not.
It would be tough to use on the ice.
It would, because now they're like, they're push things.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, but this is from the Labatt Briar,
there's
Halifax.
some of the Manitoba Tuck curlers.
1981.
They might like that. You might be able to sell that on eBay for.
I'm thinking. Well, look, I use it I keep it in my trunk. We get the odd snowfall in
Can't be
Vancouver.
very often.
And it works.
That's
you know,
hilarious.
isn't that hilarious?
That's
We have to
great,
get
you
a
still
picture.
have
We'll
it?
get a picture of you, me, and the broom.
That would be
And
great.
we'll tweet.
Okay.
Are you into social media?
We are. Our team does a lot of it. We try to at events, and really good for our sponsors and all
Right.
the people that follow
Okay.
us.
When will you actually go to Russia? Do you know
No.
how much before, or can
Well-
you go practice, or?
Yeah, if they get the ice in, we're hoping that prior to 2014, so probably it would be October 2013, they'd have the ice in and we could go there for an event.
How great. How nice to meet you.
Thank you, Fanny.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to present this to you from
Oh,
Sierra
great.
Cell and a book from me.
Because of my Pilates knees.
It is the
I'll
Pilates.
get
It'll
slurping
help.
this joint formula right away.
It will
Okay.
help.
How lovely.
Thanks, Fanny.
Thank you. Is the silver medal in here?
It's right here.
Fine.
I didn't.